And the question of the day is, does training to show off hurt your results? Hello, my friends. I'm Fred. Here we talk about investment, business, real life, and training, all from my personal perspective. We live in the age of social media, where almost everything turns into content, even workouts. And today, a lot of people don't train just to get stronger, healthier, or more disciplined. They train to look good, to post, to be seen, to get validation. So, the real question is, does training to show off actually harm your progress? Or can it be useful if used the right way? Let's break this down honestly. We are living in a time where appearing has become almost as important as sometimes more important than doing. And you go to the gym, and instead of being fully focused on the workout, you are thinking about how you look, you know, how the video will turn out, how the post will perform, whether people will like it. Sometimes people are more concerned about posting the workout than doing the workout properly. And in that sense, yes, training to show can hurt you, can hurt your progress. Because your focus shifts from performance to appearance, from effort to imagine, from discipline to validation. And when focus moves away from the work that you are doing right now, results usually suffer. But we need to be fair here. There are two different ways to showing off. First one, showing off in the real life, in the gym. This is when you want to look good in front of people who are physically there. You want to lift well. You want to look strong. You want to carry yourself with confidence. Honestly, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. A little pride can improve posture, increase effort, push you to perform better, as long as it doesn't turn into ego driving stupidity. This type of motivation can actually help performance. And the thing is, there is a second one, showing off on social media, the virtual version. This is where things get more complex. Now, you are not just performing in the gym, you are performing for an invisible audience online. You are showing something that isn't happening live, is edited, is curated, is filtered. It is optimized for attention. And here's the weird part. Something that's not real life starts to feel more important than real life itself. You train today, but you only exist when you post it later. That's a strange psychological shift. And that's where problems can start. And this is automatically bad? Not necessarily. Now, here's a known mistake. I don't think, hear me on this, I don't think this is automatically negative. This is the world we live in right now. This is the era we are in. And instead of pretending it doesn't exist, we need to learn how to use it intelligently. If you realize that posting your workouts distracts you, reduces effort, makes you fake performance, then great. You can adjust. You can reduce it. You can control it. You can rebalance it. The problem isn't posting. The problem is when posting replaces training. That's the thing. For example, right now, I use my workouts as content. Right here in this video, the training you see in the background of this video. I recorded it. I edited it. I posted it. That's literally training plus appearing plus content, creation combined. And yes, that's social media at its maximum. But here's the difference. I also train when nobody's watching, nobody's filming, nobody will ever see it. Sometimes I train alone, no posts, no audience, no validation. And that's the key point. Ask yourself this. If there were no cameras, no Instagram, no YouTube, no audience, would you still train? If the answer is yes, then you are balanced. If you still train alone, in silence, without posting, without showing, then your training is real. Posting becomes optional, not essential. But if the only motivation is attention, then the foundation, the foundation is weak. Now, let's talk about the positive side. Sometimes showing progress or tracking it can actually increase motivation. Think about apps like Strava. Strava has a social side, but it also has a gamification effect. Tracking workouts, tracking hours, tracking progress, competing with yourself. In my case, for example, sleep became a game. I aim for 8 hours. Training became a game. I track yearly hours. Consistency became a metric that motivates discipline. I stay with this watch all the time, tracking everything. And that's not ego, that's structure. Even when social sharing is involved, it can increase accountability, encourage consistency, reinforce habits. So, again, it's not automatically bad. The real danger is when appearing becomes more important than training. For example, someone starts martial arts. They barely know how to throw a punch, but they post photos, wearing gloves, striking poses, acting skill, creating an image before building skill. That can become empty performance. But even then, sometimes that initial desire to look cool is what keeps the person training long enough to actually improve. So, even ego can sometimes be a gateway to discipline. The key is whether ego involves into growth or replaces growth. There is a huge trend online to demonize everything. You see content like social media is destroying training, posting workouts ruins discipline, If you post you are fake, a lot of that is clickbait. It sells outrage, it sells fear, it sells moral superiority. But real life is more nuanced. Social media can be harmful, helpful, motivating, distracting. Both sides. It depends on how you see it. We need discernment, not blind hate. There are people who train for show, and there are people who train for real life. In my case, even though I am not, and even though I am on YouTube, I try to show training in a raw and honest way. No fake hype, no fake intensity, no stage environment. Just a guy training alone, doing real work, no audience, no acting. And I think that authenticity matters. If posting motivates you, good. If it distracts you, reduce it. If it replaces training, fix it. Problems happen when validation becomes addiction. Image becomes more important than effort. Ego becomes more important than growth. That's the problem. But when you keep balance, social sharing can simply be a tool, not a trap. Some people say we are still in a prehistoric era of social media and AI. And honestly, that makes sense. We are still learning how much to share, how much is too much, what's healthy, what's excessive. Excess is often part of learning. Sometimes people need to overdo it, feel the downside, then recalibrate. That's part of human development. My honest conclusion: human beings are a mix. Human beings. I need to say it right. Human beings are a mix. We want self improvement, recognition, validation, growth. Wanting to appear is natural. Wanting to be seen is human. But when you can bring motivation back to back to your internal discipline, your private effort, your silent consistency, that's where real strength lives. Real strength, real strength, real strength lives. Now, I want to hear from you. Be honest. Do you train to show off, or do you train for your own internal growth? Or are you like most people, a mix of both? Leave your comment, my friend. Thank you to everyone who is watching and supporting. See you in the next video.